Hi, Annie, you? It's Teknikolour. I have a limited pack speed build that I would like to show you today that I built in Bedlington Bay. Let's check it out. So here we are on the Bedlington Boathouse lot in Bedlington Bay, and I was so excited to do this build. It actually kind of broke me. But not for the reasons that you would think. I've wanted to do a limited pack build for forever, and so many people have said that they would love to play in my builds, or they would love to even just like download my lots off the gallery, but there's just too many packs that they don't have. And that makes sense. There are a ton of packs in The Sims, and it is expensive to buy each and every single pack. For this limited pack build, I wanted to focus on a couple of my favorite packs. So in terms of expansion packs, that means cats and dogs and growing together. As for game packs, I chose Parenthood and Strangerville. And to round it all out, I chose for my stuff packs, Crystal Creations and Paranormal. There are absolutely no kits used in this build. And I felt like it made sense not to use kits in this build because I'm already using quite a few packs. I thought 2 of each was doable, but I would be open to doing other limited pack builds in the future. So if there are any specific packs that you would like me to build with, I would definitely be interested to hear. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I knew by using these packs, because these are some of my all-time favorite packs, that I could come up with something that I knew would be very Teknikolour. And it would just like fit with my style, and I would just be able to make something that I knew I would be happy with. And I did not realize how many other packs I use. I will be honest, I definitely use a lot of the kits generally, but for this, I didn't really miss them. I felt like it was a lot of clutter that I was missing out on by not using kits. But at the same time, it was so easy to just build and not really have to worry about using kits or just searching for so many items. I was a little disappointed because I actually have a room on the gallery where it is a dog bed that is kind of built into a basket. And on the gallery, it only shows as needing cats and dogs, which I knew because it was a dog bed. And I also thought that that basket was part of cats and dog, but it's not. So I said, oh, it's base game because the icon didn't show up on the gallery. But no, it is actually from Jungle Adventure. So if you have also downloaded that room and been like, oh, I can't wait to use this, you also need Jungle Adventure, apparently. I think it's because it's a debug item, but I just don't understand why it's not tagged correctly. So I was trying to figure out why the heck I couldn't add it to this build because I thought it would have been perfect. So if you have Jungle Adventure and you would like to use that, you can add that to your build very easily. I knew though that I needed to do a mixture of cats and dogs and growing together for the exterior. I love the windows and the doors that we get in growing together, and I love a lot of the same items from cats and dogs. But I knew that a lot of like the fencing and stuff like that was how I was going to weave in cats and dogs, other than items for pets. And I just knew that this was such an incredible build for me to attempt as a limited pack build, because it really forced me to focus on the essentials of those packs. And I still do think that it's a little bit much in terms of packs. Like, that's still very expensive. 2 expansion packs, 2 game packs, and 2 stuff packs. However, I knew that by doing this, it would sort of help me learn how to do limited pack builds. Obviously, it's not going to always work in that case, but I don't know. I was just so excited to just get in and build, and I knew that there were specific items that I wanted to use. Like, I knew I wanted those like structural support beams to be used all around the roof. I also knew that I wanted that like big dormer in the front, and I was a little confused about how to actually build that because I built it and then I realized there was no way to get there. No matter what I did, I didn't like any place to put the stairs. I actually cut all of that out. And then I finally realized that I could just add a little bit more space upstairs. And then I ended up getting a bedroom and an office and a bathroom upstairs, which I was not expecting. I didn't really think it was going to end up being that much space, but I cut out so much from this video because it was embarrassing how long it took me to figure out the stairs. I knew that I wanted the foot of the stairs to lead down into that window that you see from the porch. However, no matter what I did, the stairs just looked weird, and I kept adding platforms for some reason, and I was like, I'll use like 2 separate staircases and just break it up with the platforms. Everything that I did, I literally spent, I think it might have been 2 hours. I think I built for like 2 hours trying to get that to work. And then I realized I hated it. And I actually called my boyfriend in here to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. Because no matter what I did, it just wasn't working. I would change the way that the staircase was oriented. I would change the type of stairs. Everything that I did, it just was not looking right. And then my boyfriend was like, wait, what if you just do this? And you just like twist the stairs this way and move it back. And I was like, what? And it was basically exactly what I wanted. I think there's a little bit more space between the porch window and the foot of the staircase, but it works. It's perfect. It actually fits everything that I wanted. And then I knew with the kitchen that I was going to struggle. I actually built in this area for the fridge, and then I was originally thinking I was going to add in like a little half bath or something right into the staircase, and then I realized it didn't make any sense whatsoever. So then I just decided to scrap that idea. And then the next day when I was building, I made the kitchen a little bit larger than I was originally anticipating, because I felt like I wanted there to be an island, and everything that I did, the island just looked weird. I had a square island, I had a round island. No matter what I did, it just felt like there was not enough room. I think that there technically is enough room for your Sims to come in, but it just felt like if I put bar stools, there were just 2. It just didn't feel right. So I decided to adjust things. And I kind of made like a little desk area, like a little nook, using the counters. So we have the kitchen counters and then we have the bar counters. And I think it looks really good. I knew that I also wanted this area to have a lot of windows. And I ended up putting more windows than I was expecting, because I don't really like the view that's on the left side of the building. But I decided to add windows there too, because I figured even still, depending on like where this lot was and how you would be in this kitchen, like if you were to play in here, you wouldn't see that much out of the window. So I was a little happier with it when I decided to do that. I also have not much room. There's really no backyard. There's really no side. There's a little deck off of the primary bedroom, and I think that that's okay. And that leads down into the shore. But I don't know. I feel like this works. I feel like this is something that just looks like it would fit in to Bedlington Bay and into this particular spot. But I knew that I didn't want the view of the bathrooms. So you can still kind of see out those windows that are on the left in the kitchen, but I don't know. I think it works. I think I'm okay with it. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Who knows? I changed my mind so many times when I was building this that it's kind of embarrassing. Like the kitchen, the amount of the speed build that is just dedicated to the kitchen is crazy. It took me so long to figure out how I wanted this laid out. And I'm watching it back now and it's embarrassing. It's literally a square. Why did this take me so long? Everything that I was doing, it doesn't make any sense what I was working on. I think it's because it reminded me a bit of my parents' kitchen and I wanted to recreate that, but you can't really recreate that in The Sims. So it just wasn't really doing what I wanted it to. But in the end, I ended up really enjoying the way that the kitchen is set up. It is an embarrassing amount of time that I spent on this kitchen, but it ended up looking really good at the end. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. It's a massive kitchen though. Like if you think about it realistically, this is a really, really large kitchen. And I don't know that I really needed that much space, but here we are. Here we are. I think my favorite part of this build though is probably the living room, because I made the living room kind of small and I knew that I wanted it to kind of be in the front and be sort of secluded. Like it's closed off, but it also feels very open because it opens up into the dining room, and the dining room is kind of just in the main area of the house. So like you come down the stairs and like you're in the dining room, you're in the foyer, and it just, I don't know, everything that I was doing here, it felt weird, but it also felt right. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Probably not. I knew though that I was gonna kind of push it by putting a bedroom on the main floor and also a bathroom. And then I ended up being able to fit in a second bathroom. And then we also ended up having the dining room that was kind of like in the middle, but I wanted it that way because I felt like you would be able to just bring everything from the kitchen out into the dining room. There was also that area to just go into the living room then. It just felt like a very cozy Brindleton Bay kind of house. And I'm obsessed with it. It also took me a little bit of time to figure out exactly how I wanted the living room laid out. And then once I figured that out and I wanted there to be an emphasis on that fireplace, oh, I also cut a lot of time out of the fireplace because I wanted to do things that you cannot really do in The Sims with the fireplace. I feel like what I really want to do is get into custom content. I really want to download custom content and maybe do a build with it. I don't know that it's something that I would like share. It might be something that I would use as one of my legacy homes, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many things missing from The Sims that I really want. And a fireplace that's kind of like how you'll see here is exactly what I want. I want it to fit in within the house, but I kind of want it to be inset, if that makes sense. So it's inset here. So I had to like build it out, and then I had to use tool to size it up, and it looks all right, but I don't love it. And then also having the TV placed above there and then all the way in the back, it just didn't feel right. So I had to keep adjusting that, and that was a lot. It was a lot. Something that I should say though is normally I have a creator code that when you use that creator code, it exclusively helps support me and my channel. Basically, anytime that you are purchasing any Sims content or even Dragon Age titles, and you use my creator code, you are helping to support me because a portion of that sale, the proceeds from that sale, instead of going directly to EA, go to me. And a lot of you have been doing this and you have no idea how much I appreciate it. As somebody who is doing content full-time and has been unemployed from a stereotypical job for the past 4 years, I have just been attempting to do this in the best way that I know. So getting recognized by EA and becoming an EA creator and then also being given an EA creator code is so insane to me. I just want to thank everyone who has been using my creator code, but something exciting that I can announce right now is that during this month, up until January 26, 2025, whenever you use my code, not only does it support me, but you'll also get a 5% discount. So that does not include make your own bundles for The Sims or, unfortunately, any of the kits, but for expansion packs, stuff packs, pre-made bundles, game packs, all of that will count. So if you would like to use my code for any of those or any of these packs that I'm using here, you can do that and get an extra 5% off. Sorry if I seem a little distracted today. I My downstairs neighbor, the one who, if you've been following these videos for a while, has been a bit of a nuisance. This neighbor has been screaming at us occasionally because they say that we're like banging on our floor because we think their TV is too loud, which we've never been able to hear. We didn't even know that they had moved in when they first came up to complain to us. They're having work done and I have no idea what they could possibly be doing, but our water was brown yesterday, like our hot water for a little bit. And then there's just been like nonstop banging and drilling noises and it's driving me crazy. And it has kept me incredibly distracted during this speed build. So if I seem a little out of sorts, that's why. Usually I have my headset on if I'm streaming or if I'm playing some sort of game. But usually for these, I like to keep my headset off and I can hear everything. I don't know if the microphone is picking it up. If the mic is actually catching it, I am so sorry. I do need to adjust my microphone settings a bit, but there's always something you gotta be doing, really. There's always something. I think this is also my first speed build of the new year. I've been doing a lot of walkthroughs. I don't know if that's something that you're enjoying or not. I know that my last couple of builds have been extensive. They were mansions after all. There's a lot of footage and it would be maybe an hour or longer of a speed build. And it was suggested to me that I could maybe do a walkthrough. So kind of like a Sim's eye view and just go over the build and kind of explain like what everything is, why I use certain items, and just my overall thought process for when I was building it. And I think that that really worked for those past couple of builds. I don't know if it's something that I'll always do, but I do kind of like having that as an option. So if that's something that you're interested in seeing more of, please let me know down below. I will say that building this made me really excited because every Tuesday and Thursday morning over on my Twitch channel, I play The Sims doing gameplay, typically, where I am playing with my legacy family. And we're currently on Generation 7, and we are in our Get Famous pack era. So basically each generation is focused around a specific pack in that world. So right now, Get Famous, Del Sol Valley, and the grandparents of my sim, so my Generation 6 sim, she just moved in and I was just building her new bedroom. And it's really sad because the last house that we all lived in was in San Myshuno, and it was her parents while they were still living with us. It was her husband, and then her son, who's now my legacy heir, and then also Luella Wyndham, who I believe is our Generation 3 sim. She might be Generation 4. I think she's our Generation 4 sim. Yeah. So she was my cats and dogs generation, and she lived in Brindleton Bay. And I'm actually going to be posting a video soon that is kind of like an updated version of her house. And it's probably one of my favorite builds that I've ever done in The Sims. And I always felt like that was kind of my style of building. And I feel like now I've morphed into something that's a little bit more modern, which is funny because like you could look at my earlier speed builds and I will talk about how I am not good at modern, but I've really been enjoying it lately. And this kind of felt like I was going back to my roots with this build, and it reminded me so much of her house. And it just feels like both of these would really fit in to the Brindleton Bay world. So I might have to also add this build into my legacy world. It's kind of funny because I don't normally do that. I feel like I build all the time. And unless it's like a community lot or it's my Sims house that I'll be living in, I don't normally add any of these builds into the worlds. I just like leave the builds as they are. And that's kind of strange, isn't it? I feel like I should be bringing in a lot more of my own builds. So maybe I'll have to spend some time doing that. Speaking of which, did you see that there is a new update for The Sims out today? Actually, it is kind of interesting because they did like a base game update. So there's, a lot of the townie houses, those have been redone or like updated because a lot of the items or tools that we had were not there when those worlds were released. So now that has been updated and it looked pretty cool. I checked it out a little bit on stream. I really have to deep dive into it on my own, but I was like very impressed. I thought it was really cool. But with that update, we also got a new menu screen. So the menu screen has always looked very dated, in my opinion. And not to be too critical, but I feel like the Sims user interface in general has always looked very dated. I don't know why. I think it's like the gray and like the transparency. It just reads as very, very dated to me. And I've gotten used to it, but I used to think it was like really weird. When I first started, I thought it was ugly. I didn't like it. And now it's like second nature to me. And I feel like if they were to change it, I would probably get annoyed because then I would have to like relearn everything. But they changed the menu today and it looks really good. And we were talking about this in my Twitch chat today, and we all agreed that it feels like it puts a better emphasis on the game and the actual gameplay than it does on The Sims. Because before it felt like it was a lot of advertisements. Even if it was just for The Sims, it just felt like everything was an advertisement. Like the new game or like load game or like continue, all of that was just kind of like a little menu bar on the side. And it just felt like there was not much of an emphasis on the game The Sims. And now your family is kind of like at the forefront. So like, how we just recently in Life and Death, I think it was just the exclusive item where you pre-ordered the pack and you would get like those 3 exclusive items. I think that legacy portrait is where we got that portrait of your family. That might already exist in some capacity, but I was very excited to be able to put that item in a lot of my builds. And I think the fact that our menu screen kind of also takes off of that. So like your family is like in the forefront. So even if you're not playing like with a legacy family and maybe you're playing with like the Goths or whatever, they'll be at the forefront because that is the last household that you played with. And I just think it's really interesting. It looks like the Sims team is really understanding what we want as players. And they're trying to cater to us in a way that it feels like they might not have been in the past. And again, this is coming from somebody who has only recently discovered The Sims. So The Sims 4 is in fact my first Sims game ever. I've never played The Sims before this. I have actually played My Sims, the Cozy Bundle, which they released, and that was actually really cute, but I never experienced that as a child. Like I never played The Sims before. So The Sims 4 is the very first time that I'm playing The Sims. And it's just so interesting to me to just go in and play this way. And now it's cool that like, even when you boot up the game, it doesn't feel like it's like an advertisement, because they were even doing like a full screen pop-up, which I feel like bothered a lot of Simmers, but it didn't really irk me that much. It was like a pop-up to let you know about like an event, or there's like maybe a pack that you don't have. And it is a little frustrating looking back on it. And I don't know if they're going to do that as much anymore, but I love the new menu because it honestly puts the game at the focus. It's not necessarily like packs that you might not own, or this is something that we want you to do in The Sims. Even if it's like the scenarios that you could play, I feel like a lot of it was downgraded to put that emphasis on your game and how you play The Sims. And I think that's really important. And I think it's a really good step in the right direction. So Sims team, if you were watching this, thank you so much. I think that that was a huge improvement. I feel like it has been near impossible to film this commentary. So if it seems really weird, like I was acting weird just then, it's literally because somebody just pulled up outside my building and was blasting their music. It honestly sounded like there was a random parade going down the street. That's how loud it was. And they stayed double parked for the longest time. So I literally just had to like wait for them to leave. Because it was getting picked up on the microphone. It was that loud. Another thing that I was very excited that I didn't have to spend that much time on was landscaping. Since it's such a small lot and I didn't really leave a lot of space, I knew that I wanted there to kind of be like a little patio area in the front that you could just like walk up into, and that's kind of like their backyard. But I also knew that I wanted there to be a little bit of greenery and like some plants everywhere. So I'm using a lot of those cats and dogs items, and I think it just comes together really nicely, and it just looks like it fits into the world so well. Another little touch that I was really happy with, I have no idea if it's going to be functional or not, but the mailbox is inside one of those like barrel of flowers from cats and dogs. And I just think that that looks really cute, and I might need to do that in the future. Because I don't know, this might be a pet peeve of mine, but I do not like a lot of the mailboxes that we have in The Sims. It just feels like they don't look good. And I don't know, maybe I'm just expecting more out of mailboxes, but I feel like Get Together is the only one that gave us mailboxes that actually look good. So those are really the only mailboxes that I use. I'll also use ones like from For Rent or City Living, especially the ones that are wall mounted, and those are nice. I think we even have a wall mounted one from Snowy Escape that I use a lot. But we are nearing the end of the speed build right now, so why don't we jump into the game and I can show you a little bit of a tour. So this is the Bedlington Boathouse lot as I built it, and I just think it's beautiful. As you can see, there is a front porch, and then there is this little patio on the outside. Off of the primary bedroom is this tiny little deck. And then in the back, there's just a little place to sit, and there's a little pathway going up to the front over here. Coming in the front door, you are greeted with this little entry area that goes directly into the kitchen back here. Up these steps, you can get to the second floor. But then over here, we just have the dining room, and then the living space over here with the piano. There is a bathroom for the family over here, and there's the primary bedroom with their own bathroom. Then on the second floor, there's kind of like a little work area over here, and then there is an office, and then a kid's bedroom, and then a little family bathroom over here as well. And that, my friends, is the whole build. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and if you don't want to miss future videos, hit that notification bell and you'll be alerted to future posts. But thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.